Hi, I'm Benjamin Loh, author of Master Math Models and lead tutor at Trinity Learning Center. Okay, my goal and mission is to make math easy for students to understand so that they can learn by understanding rather than just memorization. Okay, so let's begin. Get your pen and paper ready and let's get started. Okay, what we have here is a P6 remainder working backwards question. This is a combination of two concepts put together, but the important thing is that this kind of question actually appears quite regularly in the exams in the P5 and P6 level. Okay, I have seen it in the P4 level in a simpler form, but definitely by P5 and 6 you must be able to handle this because it appears regularly. Alright, so let's begin by understanding the keywords first, because that is the habit that you should all have. Okay, so let's begin. It says that he had some sugar at first, okay, and then he used 275 grams in order to bake some muffins and some of the remainder to bake some cookies. Okay, so the question then is, what is the 3 and the 5? Okay, because as usual, we have to understand that fractions are made up of actually two numbers that represent two different things. So the important thing here is to understand what is the 5 and what is the 3. Now the 5 here would represent the remaining sugar, while the 3 are the cookies. Okay, is that what you got as well? Okay, now, so basically he baked two things, right? Muffins and cookies. And then it says that in the end, okay, let's continue. And here we will underline the word end. And then we have two numbers, 1 and 8. Okay, these two numbers, of course, again, represent two different things. So question is, what is 1 and what is 8? I'll give you a moment. Okay, so you can pause this recording at any time if you want to think about it. Okay, otherwise, let's continue. So we have 8. 8 represents the sugar and 1 represents what is left. Okay, have you noticed a pattern? If you look carefully, you will realize that the denominator is always pointed to the words after off. So learn this. This is important. Continue. And it says how much sugar was there at first. All right. So we can begin drawing the model. And since the first fraction is 3/5, okay, we're going to draw 3/5. Now, the thing to remember is that the 3/5 here is not the total. It is, in fact, the remainder. So in other words, if we were to draw a model, there will be something, and then here there will be a remainder. This remainder will be brought down, okay, this back portion. And normally this is how we do remainder models, right? But in this case, they start with the remainder. In other words, you're starting with the back. So when we draw this model, we will start drawing it from the back. Okay, so this model is made up of 5 units. Okay, you can see it from here. And out of this, 3 was used to bake cookies. So I'm going to cut this into 5. And of these, 3 were used to bake cookies. Okay, now remember that this is the remainder. Okay, not the total. And of course, if this is the remainder and the last thing he did was to bake the cookies, then he did nothing else. So what you're looking at here is what is left. Right now, we need to also understand that this left represents a fraction of the total. What is that fraction? I'll give you a moment. Okay, so the answer is this portion here represents one of these two numbers, and it represents the 1 because the 1 is the left. In other words, this box here actually represents 1 box out of 8. Okay, so this is 1 out of 8. So if this is 1 out of 8, then there are how many parts missing from what I'm drawing? The answer will be 7 because 8 minus 1 means 7. And there are 7 placed in front over here. So I'm going to draw that in right now. Okay? So 7 of these big ones. Okay? So I'm going to cut this into 7 parts. And since 2 of these boxes represent one big box, then these 2 would represent one more big box. Okay? We want to try our best to align the model. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it will help you to see the question. So I was supposed to draw 7 more. So this is 1. There should be 6 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? It doesn't really matter if the sizes are the same. Okay? As long as they are not too different. Next. We have to go back to our question and ask ourselves, if this portion is 1 unit, okay, and we always call the smaller boxes 1 unit, and this will of course be 2, then the question is, what is this? Look at the question again. I'll give you a moment. What do you think this is? Did you get it? Okay, the answer is that this is the 275 grams that was used for muffins, which we never drew into the model. So therefore, this has to be the muffins. And we know that this is 275 grams. My next question to you is, how many units is this? I'll give you a moment. Okay, so just a quick reminder, if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to it because it would help with the channel, and also ping that notification bell so that in future when new videos come out for you to learn or for your child to learn, these are always available. All right, let's carry on. So my question again was, how many units? And the answer is, this is 2 each. And that makes this 11 units. In other words, 11 units is 275 grams. So if 11 units is 275 grams, then 1 unit would be 275 divided by 11 to give me 25 grams. And then now I want to solve the question, which is, how much sugar was there at first? Okay, at first would represent everything over here. How many units do you see? Okay, your answer should be 16 because that's 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Therefore, since there are 16 units, the total is 16 and I should be finding what 16 units is. Okay, let's create some space. So the total is 16 units, and 16 units times 25, that will give you about 400. Okay, you can check that with a calculator. 25, yep. Okay, so the answer to this question then is that there were 400 grams of sugar at first. Okay, the answer is 400 grams. All right. If you would like to have a clean copy of this question, please join my Telegram group found in the description below. Now remember, you can always revise by looking at the video over again, pausing it at places so that you can understand it, moving it back and forth, and learning as much as you can. With that, I'll see you at the next question. Take care and bye-bye.